Hello and welcome to Show of Truth. My name is Shannon and this is Amrita, and we will be meeting today with Amrita to discuss awakening extraterrestrial shamanism, which you'll get to hear about what that even is from this lovely being here, and hopefully provide some information for you to further your awakening process and also be inspired. And so that's the intention here. Amrita, I can either let you introduce yourself or I can share a little bit about you, but I have personally worked with this woman and she has many gifts, and I look forward to whatever transpires in this call.
Cool, me too. Thank you. Why don't you go ahead and then I'll just fill in anything that if there's something I want to add.
So Amrita is what I would consider a modern ancient shaman, and she is here in today's modern world to bring the wisdom of extraterrestrial shamanism, which to me the foundation of that is in unity consciousness, and she's able to bridge what could be abstract awarenesses into a really practical embodiment. So that's partly why I have her here, because she is someone who has gone to far out places within herself and is able to really maintain the integrity with how that relates to her human life. And particularly excited to also speak about the channeling work she does. And I would like her to introduce that part. The other thing that I really feel called to share is she does really powerful one-on-one work that it's called mind clearing, and it's super powerful. I would also like you to share, if you feel like sharing about that. How would I describe it? Would be all the extra muck that swirls in our minds and is creating without us even being conscious of it. She has this really awesome process that's really straightforward to help actually complete some of those loops so that we can just move forward with where we're at in our awakening in our life process. So without the baggage pulling at us. So do you want to go now?
Great, thank you. Okay. Yeah, that's all true. Where should I start? Extraterrestrial shamanism, what is that? We'll start with that. In 1987 in August, there was a thing called a harmonic convergence. It was the beginning of a 25-year period of preparation for December 21st, 2012, which according to the Mayan calendar was a point in time where all cycles, short and small, converged into one point. And it was a very potent time for many people. So 25 years prior to that, in August, on the harmonic convergence, I suddenly started channeling an entity named Amrita. And by suddenly, I mean I had no intention or desire or idea that this might be happening. I'd been doing personal growth work and heart energy work for 12 years at that point, working really hard on the internal level to clear out the baggage, as you say, on all levels, and to integrate it in my life. I've had very little patience through all these many, many years of this work, which is still ongoing to this day, to bring it to my life. I have had very little patience with those processes or ideas or experiences that I couldn't bring home and find a way to bring into my life, to embody, as you say. And so I began to channel this entity that was pure love. And Amrita said from the beginning, and says to this day, that this is the mission and purpose, the vision of this one, which is to assist the human race and to assist human ones and the human race in coming into full conscious awareness of all things at all times, that which you call enlightenment. And to bring the message of universal love to as many human ones as possible. That's the vision. And the message of universal love is this: universal love is all that is, and all that is universal love. And each one of us as individuals, we are that all that is. That limitless, unconditional love. That's our nature. That's our essence. That's, as Amrita says, it's the stuff of which this universe is made. Everything is made of this love. So that's Amrita's message. And in the experience of channeling Amrita, it not only launched me into a whole quantum leap of spiritual evolution, but it also gave me a way to bring much greater assistance to way many more people than I personally can do. So when I channel Amrita, Amrita has assisted and awakened many, many people on their awakening path, thousands of people since 1987 when I first started channeling. 20 years after I had been channeling Amrita for 20 years and doing my own journey as well, going through many experiences and trainings and so forth and so on, another entity joined us named Aurelia. And also the words extraterrestrial shamanism appeared in my consciousness. And from that moment, I knew that it was something big. That was in 2007. And in 2008, I channeled through the 12 journeys of extraterrestrial shamanism, which activate, attune, and actualize your 12-strand DNA. And so it has a profound effect on the consciousness of those who go through it. There's about 24 or so extraterrestrial shaman on the planet, people who have gone through these 12 journeys. And they are shamanic journeys. I don't know what else to say about them at the moment.
I mean,
go ahead, please.
From what I know of the 12 journeys, because I have done, not all of them, but I have done many, they're phenomenal, and I'm going to do them all, is that you can do them all at once, like, very one right after the other, or you can do it over a process of time. They don't all have to be done like all at once. Yes. But that's the only other piece I would share about it.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so those 12 journeys have been offered and can be offered again as a weekend intensive, where you go through them all at once. Each one of the journeys I have found could be a meditation. You could spend days, weeks, months, years, lifetime, a lifetime doing just that one meditation. Each one builds on the other. And these are the 12 journeys of extraterrestrial shamanism are for those who are ready for a quantum leap in their consciousness. And they've also been done as
so I'm going to interrupt you now. So speaking of quantum leap,
yes,
what is a quantum leap? I'm going to, I might interrupt and go different places, but yes. So because I'm really fascinated about interviewing you regarding the topic of awakening, and yes. I know that whoever's watching this video is probably going to have some context of having heard that word, but maybe it really knows about it or just knows about it. And so I would like to ask, what is a quantum leap for those yes. who are maybe steady pacing on the path or taking step by step? What would be a quantum leap?
Yes. So what I'm speaking of is a quantum leap in consciousness, where it's more than an insight or even a revelation. That's a shift in awareness, but a quantum leap in consciousness is where, what I mean by that is where there's a shift of actual paradigm, where how you experience yourself, the world, other people, relationships, your life, there's a fundamental shift in how we experience and navigate our lives and being ourselves.
Oh,
One
okay.
common example in the awakening process, many people have reported that one morning they wake up and in their mind, in the place where judgment has occurred all their life, suddenly there is compassion. That's a quantum leap in consciousness, where the thoughts, the experiences, the things that you normally just automatically, the mind comes up with judgments, all of a sudden those judgments are gone. And that is a symptom of awakening, a symptom and an indication of a shift in consciousness. That's one of the things that can happen. I had a quantum leap in consciousness, for example, when I was in a very deep depression due to a divorce, and I was slowly starting to improve, but I was really deep in it still. And then I did something that for several days, it was an intensive thing, and during it, I experienced a quantum leap in consciousness. And when I got home, I was in a very, very different place where I was suddenly functional and able to do things that I'd been unable to do for many, many months. So that's another example.
I just keep wanting to ask this question, and you can either share, or it might
Sure.
just be a comment, but it's also like, for whatever reason, I'm wanting to emphasize that when we experience quantum leaps, sometimes they can be, they reveal themselves to us versus like, I'm going to take a quantum leap. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
always happen like I'm going to take a quantum leap. It's like
Right.
we recognize, it's like, oh, I am now, in this quantum leap. Sometimes we can be conscious of the transition, and sometimes the transition happens and then we become conscious of it sort of after the fact, or like in
Yes.
retrospect. And how not just our thoughts can change, but also I just have seen and heard in the awakening process from others as well as myself, but a lot more so others, that their whole life changes. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they don't feel the same about their partner. They don't feel the
Right.
same about their job. They don't feel the same about their house. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they might not even recognize themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
I do know that you have a lot of strength in helping people navigate the
Mm.
awakening process in that sort of a way, like where
Yes.
there has been a quantum leap, and
Yes.
now they need some place and some space to like how to integrate that, how to like, where does that even land?
Yes.
And
How to
I know that,
navigate. Yes.
yeah, and you have many strengths in that. I don't know if there's something you're most inspired to share regarding that topic right now, or if you want me to
Yeah.
ask a
Sure.
question.
Well, there's a perspective that the example I gave was early on in my whole process. And I characterize it now as a quantum leap, but I had no idea. I just knew that I was depressed and I needed to do this thing. And then afterwards, I just was with the experience. So that's a hindsight. And I think that especially when that first starts happening, it is very difficult to tell that it to know it's ahead of time. There's just this awareness that everything is different, and it can be. And I think more and more people are experiencing a complete and sudden shift, like you described, that's what I mean by shift of paradigm, where how you feel, what you think about what's important to you, what your values are, in regards to things like your relationships and your job and your home and your everything, how you go about living your life, your body, your relationship to your body, all of those things completely change. And then there's the question of, well, who am I now? And now I often have a sense of an impending quantum leap because I have been through it many, many, many times. Part of why I'm able to navigate. I know the terrain. We're all, each of us, on our own path. We have to find our own way. This is something we all share, but it's a very individual process. Must follow our own path. And I know the terrain. That's my path too. And I know, and so I don't know what your path is. The support I offer to awakening ones is I can help you in navigating the terrain you're on so that you can determine what your path is. And I have a lifetime of ways and means and maps and ways of understanding, but most importantly, experience in having my attention on not only the individual that I'm working with, but we also, Amrita and Aurelia and myself, when we work with an individual, we work with their guides, we work with their higher self and whatever other guidance is present for them. And that's where we get our guidance and direction, and that's who has the last word, so to speak. I have a knowing that we all, as individuals, as all that is, we are and have choice. We always have choice. And in honoring my own, I honor the choice of another to take the path that they're on. So I'm here not to tell you your path or to show you your path, but to help you navigate whatever your path is. So that's what I had to say.
Yeah. And she also offers one-on-one channeling with Amrita and Aurelia and herself too.
Yes, by telephone, and I make a recording and send you a link to that so you can access it.
Yeah. So I would personally like, and I'm opening this up for you, is like I would personally like to invite Amrita and Aurelia, if that's what's most super juicy for you.
Oh, sure. Before I do that, I'd like to talk about the mind clearing because it's easier to talk about it before than after doing the channeling. Yeah.
Okay.
Mind clearing. Yes, go ahead.
Well, like what most excites you and inspires you about the benefits of mind clearing? Like what is so amazing for you about that?
Well, the short answer is it actually works. That's one of the things that it does what it claims to do, which is very exciting to me because what it claims to do is this. There's this thing called a communication cycle where we make a communication, the other person gets it, they acknowledge the communication, and then we get that they got it. And if that cycle is broken anywhere, then it creates problems in life and in relationships. Mind clearing is a way to complete those cycles that are incomplete that we carry within us as baggage. And it's designed to help, essentially, it's designed to help people live their lives better. You don't have to have a spiritual path. You don't have to be awakening. It's a great tool for awakening ones, but that's not required. Everybody has a mind, and if you have a mind and you want to live your life better, then mind clearing might be a way to do it. And there's tremendous power in this process. Now, in my own personal experience, I had a very deep subconscious program that just ran. It's when you start to tune into the tapes that your mind runs, that was one of the ones that would show up. And I brought it to the mind clearing process. There's a specific piece of it called problem clearing, and I said I have this problem, and it got down to in doing the process. Which is very satisfying because you get to talk about yourself in your own language. And the person doing the clearing, what I bring to the people coming to me for mind clearing is my job is to understand, listen and understand. That's it. No judgment, no comments, no feedback, no suggestions on how to fix it, just understanding. And the power of that is so potent. That's another thing I'm passionate about with this, is the power of complete understanding without doing anything with it. It blew my mind when I first learned about this, because I'd learned all these different processes and ways of helping people, bringing things out, assisting people in doing reflection and giving them information and input. My input was very potent in helping people. And then here is this thing where all I do is listen and I understand. And I essentially ask questions in the form of instructions. Tell me more about what you just said, this thing you said. Tell me more about the apples falling from the tree, or whatever the specific is. And then you get to tell me, and I understand. And when I understand, I say thank you, and that's it. And the power of that in witnessing the transformation and in people, and in how much it helped them in actually being able to make changes in their life in a natural way, in a way that's integral, is very profound for me. And having gone through it, it works. That thing I brought to that process, it went away, and it has never been back. And there's all these impressions in the mind that just get cleared out when those cycles get complete. And it's also very satisfying to have the communication cycles completed in the session over and over again. And having done mind clearing myself, many hundreds hours of it, I have to say that it seems very magical. I just go and I talk and I talk and I say stuff about myself, and in doing so, I face myself and I learn things about myself, and then I go about my life, and somehow something fundamental and on a subtle level, very deep, has shifted and changed, and I'm doing things differently, and there's an ease around those things, and sometimes around the things I'd been talking about, and sometimes around things that seem unrelated. Because as we improve our ability to relate in this way, all of our relationships automatically improve. And that's another kind of fundamental thing, the way that it is that this particular mind clearing process works. So thank you for giving me a chance to talk about it. This, by the way, was created by a man named Charles Berner, who then took the name Yogeshwar Muni. And it was something that he really honed and made very, very pure as a process. And I was trained in this also in 1987. That was a very active year for me. And I have done hundreds of hours of clearing with clients since 1987. So that's about that.
Thank you for sharing. It is a really powerful process. And like you said, it doesn't just work on the issue or whatever you might be bringing to it, but it also affects all areas in a really powerful, super straightforward way. And anyone can do it. So that's, even if you don't identify as awakening, or even if you're so super not into everything else we're talking about, this is also useful, very useful for you too. There were questions that I had to ask you, but they're mainly about what, like, you're most inspired to share with the world, which you did already sort of touch on. And that's what, from what I gathered, Amrita and Aurelia's message of universal love. And to be aware of all things at all times, full conscious awareness of all things at all times. And that's like your real, what you're most inspired to share with the world. So because that's a question I have here, well, another question I have is, like, what keeps you, I would really like to speak to Amrita and Aurelia and ask them some questions. And yeah, that would be
okay. All right, good. Let's see. Actually, I have been since I started channeling using stones. I hold them in my hands because when I go into the channeling state, my hands go like this, and I found that my nails dug into my palm. So I started using the stones, and then they became. This is one I've been using since 1987. It's a rose quartz. A little hard. It's very clear now. It wasn't that clear when I first started using it.
Um, I don't know. This is fun, so we're gonna have fun today. Um,
So, I was about to drop into channeling mode. So, tell me when you want me to do that.
no, I'm ready. I
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I am here. I do greet you, most wonderful. Indeed, it is as if I am Amrita, Extraterrestrial One. And so, in what way may we be of service to you this day?
So I want you to be aware of the field of all the people who are going to watch this video.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And to share what message you have for everyone, specifically with regards to ascension and how maybe best to navigate that. I would like a message first for those who are watching regarding that.
Yes, indeed. And so, it is for you to remember the love in each moment, moment by moment by moment by moment, to remember the love that you are. The love that is indeed the very stuff of which this universe is made. And so this love, it is for you to remember it. And in particular, as human one, in those places where you have forgotten the love and then you forgot to forget, as awakening one, you are remembering and forgetting and remembering and forgetting. And it is for you to remember in each moment the love that you are. All else flows from this. This is message, you understand.
What if it's really scary and I don't know where to go?
Yes, indeed. And so, in any state, it is possible for you to notice the love, to simply notice it. It is as if your attention is drawn to the not love, and you can choose to also bring your attention to that which is love in the situation. And so, for example, in this sense of being afraid, you can notice that this fear is an expression of your experience of a sense of separation in the midst of unity. And it is for you to notice, for example, that which you are afraid of is a source of fear for many, many other human ones. And you can notice that you are not alone in this fear, and that the other ones are also of the love. And that you can notice, so this one, even this one that I know is of great love and of great lovingness to me, also has feelings of fear. And you can notice that you yourself are such love. And it is also possible for you to notice that this love, which is limitless, is greater than the fear, for the fear has a limit to it. It is not limitless, although it may seem so in moments. But what you can notice is the love itself is surrounding and holding that fear. And then you can begin to choose, where do you wish to have your attention? There is something calling your attention. The fear is only a pointer to you. It is, as an awakening one, for many of you, that which arises of your fears is not a danger sign, but in fact a pointer to that which it is time for you to have your attention upon. That which you have been afraid of, but which you can hold in the greater love. Be aware of the greater love holding it for you. However it is for you does not matter. And then you can feel that fear, and you can notice that other human ones also feel that fear. And in that feelingness, you are, as a human one, alive. And that the fear is but a way for your emotional body to call attention to that which it is for you to have your attention upon in a loving way. For fear reflects itself back to itself. When you focus on that which you are afraid of, in the fear, it brings more fear. And when you focus on that very thing, even as you feel the fear from a place of love, then you can notice what it is about that is relevant to you. For it is awareness of self that is key. The fear is but a pointer. It is like a road sign. Oh, here is something for you to be aware of in yourself. Not that you are afraid of something, but the thing itself. What it is about that is informing you of yourself and your own nature. And it is this discovery of self, so to speak, when pursued, will lead you to the knowingness that you yourself are this love. And so,
I thank you for your share.
yes, indeed. You are indeed most welcome.
I'm just wanting to hear a little bit about, and it doesn't have to be from you, but in extraterrestrial shamanism, I would like to, because I am aware of the first journey, which is meeting your extraterrestrial counterpart.
Yes, indeed, it is the journey home to your extraterrestrial place of origin.
Or your extraterrestrial place of origin, yeah.
Yes, indeed, where you do indeed meet your extraterrestrial counterpart. It is so.
Yeah, that journey is specifically important for me, I feel like, and is really beneficial for those on the awakening path. And I know personally why it's super beneficial, and I mean,
oh, yes, indeed.
How I would describe it. Oh, you can share.
It does have many benefits, and one of these is a greater awareness of, or even introduction to, the multidimensional nature of your being.
Yeah, and I noticed that being able to be with, even if it's abstract and it's just a vision, and you know, for all the doubts and whatever, being with this part of yourself, myself, ourself, will also allow for more ease in facing the fears that come up, because the fears indeed. Are also like others, these, you know, other entities in a way that we get to bring home. So I'm open if you want to share and elaborate on that a little bit. But
yes,
I
indeed.
just felt like it's important to share about the first journey and how just in that journey itself is really important and
yes,
helpful
indeed.
in this area.
Yes, indeed, most wonderful. Mm-hmm. And so the to understand extraterrestrial counterpart, it is to understand that when major decision is made by an individuated one, when there is choice to do something or not, there are then two probable realities that are set in motion. And so you as an extraterrestrial did choose to become human being one. And you were born and reincarnated again and again and again until here you are to this day in this moment. At that moment of decision, there was also another you who chose not to become human one, continued on extraterrestrial existence. And in meeting your extraterrestrial counterpart, you have access to all of what you each have experienced along those two realities. And you have a resource that is your own self, not something separate from you, but another aspect, dimension of self. Another you who has similar experiences without the human element. And in facing fears as a human one, to have access to your own extraterrestrial counterpart can allow you to be aware of the fear as a human experience.
Mm.
And in essence, it is like getting a new perspective from yourself. You do not have to not be yourself in order to have a perspective that, oh, this is a human experience occurring in and it has as much validity, as it were, as this extraterrestrial experience. Another example of your multidimensionalness is all of your past lives and your future lives as well. They are all dimensions of yourself that are you and not you at the same time.
Okay, well then one little last like message to sort of like wrap it up, because I know I could go forever
Ah, yes, indeed.
in this satsang truth telling experience. So in multidimensional awareness, I would like to make it like ABC kindergarten explanation of how past, present, and future are related to from multidimensional awareness.
Oh, yes, indeed.
In
And so
that,
it is, and so,
you go.
and so it is for me to introduce Aurelia, for this is the purview of this one. A moment, please. Ah, dear ones, ah, the sweetness of the love that you are is of great joy. For Amrita One, it is all it is, and the universal love for myself. As Aurelia, it is the here and now. There is indeed only the moment, moment by moment by moment, and in each moment, all other moments are accessible. It is possible in any given moment for you to also be aware of another moment or many other moments simultaneously, for there is only the moment here and now. Everywhere and everywhen are accessible to you as an individuated one. And so in these moments, all probable pasts, all probable futures are accessible. And it is through knowingness of self that this takes place, this being here and now, moment by moment by moment by moment. Be aware of yourself is to be aware of the limitless love and the joy that is inherent in this. And to be aware of that love, this limitless love, is to be self-aware. And so, dear ones, it is for you to notice that the more in the moment, in the here and now that you can be, the more aware of all other moments you can be. Most wonderful. And this is me coming back.
Thank you, thank you.
Ah, they say you are most welcome. So that experience of channeling, I'll just say personally for me, is a very joyful and ecstatic experience. The automatic smile that happens when I channel reminds me of my youth when I took a lot of LSD and I got the acid smile where I just was grinning for hours, and then for the next day my face would hurt because there was so much of it. But it's the spontaneous, it's just a very natural expression when I channel. It just happens. And what I do, since the very first time I channeled Amrita accidentally, so to speak, is I go into my heart and I let go. And I open up to higher guidance to come through me. And Amrita just shows up, and it's all by choice. I allow it. I choose to allow it. So
So, yeah, did you have something else to say?
Yes, I've been having, I had a kind of a revelation insight about how to talk about ascension
Mhm.
in thinking about this interview today. And the phrase heaven on earth came to me, and I thought, oh, okay. So heaven on earth describes the fifth dimensional experience, which is a unity consciousness and an awareness of love and of all the things that Amrita and Aurelia were speaking of, living from that dimension, fifth dimension.
Self as love.
Yeah, self as love, but also that we all are that, and that we're in a state, a unified state already, even though we might feel separate, we're still in unity consciousness. And ascension has to do with living from that fifth dimensional consciousness here in 3D as a human being. It's the old idea of ascension was we leave the body. This is
Mhm.
about bringing heaven to earth. It's
Being
about,
like an earth angel.
yeah, but actually being that, embodying that,
Mhm.
and having the capacity to remember in each moment. So ascension really is heaven on earth in the sense that it is that um, awakened state, living that awakened state in every moment as a human being, which means that we have our thoughts, we have our monkey mind, we have our emotions, all of those feeling states that exist. We're just no longer identified with them. That's another thing about being aware of being multidimensional is there's a shift from being identified at all. Instead of being identified with our body or our emotions or our mind, our thoughts, our experiences, our lifetimes, our personality, whatever it is, there's an awareness of these things being our expression, these things being a part of who we are, but they're not who we are. Who we are, who I am, is that love. And that love loves to love others by showing up in a human body, by expressing the feelings that arise in me as they arise, by being a human being, and learning to celebrate that on a physical level is, as you know, I've shared this, is part of what I am now um, working with as an awakening, evolving human one, is celebrating our physicalness as a human. And uh, so.
That was a beautiful description of ascension, and I want to say that you can live heaven on earth. We can live heaven on earth, even if we've had intense trauma and haven't experienced it before.
Oh, yes.
And that heaven on earth isn't actually some like woo woo fantasy.
Right.
It's a very real embodiment, and it's possible for everyone. If it's
It's
possible for,
also, yes, it's also not endless bliss. It's
yeah.
not ecstatic positivity all the fucking time, excuse me, all the time.
Beep.
Beep, yes, beep that if you like. It's not being high, okay? It's kind of like what Amrita was describing, where the fears and angst and grief and pain and all of that stuff can arise in our experience, and it's held in a greater awareness of love. Um, and it also requires, being able to do this also requires embracing our humanness, which means embracing our shadow, embracing all of that which we have come to think and feel of as unacceptable. And there's in being in the union of opposites, it's not about it being all on the good side of things. There's a love and an acceptance that is held, and that's the real heaven and earth, where no matter what is going on, that love is still present.
Thank you. Once again, this is Amrita, and founder, creator, steward of Extraterrestrial Shamanism, and also really amazing awakening coach. And she offers channeling with Amrita and Aurelia, mind clearing, awakening coaching. And is there anything else that you want to share about what you're offering right now? Because you have many gifts. So.
Oh yes. Well, I'm formulating an offer very soon of my online course called Living in Grace, which is another set of 12 journeys, and also involves ancient spiritual principles that interweave with those. So I like your ancient modern characterization, and it one of what it does is it takes people from living in drama, from the reactive mind, to living in grace from the heart. So if you want to get on my email list or get on my or like my Facebook page, Extraterrestrial Shamanism, you'll get notified as to when that's being offered, and that's in the works soon.
Cool. And I will list your page, Extraterrestrial Shamanism. She also does weekly journeys that are like little previews of sort of the flavor of the journeys that Amrita and Aurelia and Amrita facilitate. Yes. And those happen every week. Yes. So I'll be posting a link to those as well. And then you'll have access to contacting her. And just want to thank you all again for your time and your willingness to be here with us and whoever's watching.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
As Amrita says, it is a joy and to be of service to you in whatever way we may have been.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And until we come back on, thank you for watching, and you will have access to contacting her listed with this video. Blessings. I'm complete now. How are you? Are you complete?
I'm good. Thank you.
I'm going to stop this now. Dang. Okay.
There we go. Huh? Oh. Why am I the host? Why is it recording? It says it's recording here. I didn't do anything.